The strongest influence in the life of your child wins. So the big question is this: are you the strongest influence in the life of your child? I'm Brad Zude, owner of InfluencerParenting.com. I have 7 children of my own, going on 8. We're #1 best-selling parenting authors, and we have videos that have been seen millions of times. And I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm actually here to build a community of like-minded parents that actually want to do an amazing job raising effective children, but most importantly, who want to be the strongest influence in the life of their children. See, you have to begin with the end in mind. And when it's all said and done, your children are all grown up and you can't ground them anymore, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and they're off to college or married, you're left with one simple thing, and that's your influence. That's the only tool that you're going to be left with. Most people want to have a goal of raising a responsible and moral child and all that kind of stuff, and that's all good. But it's about how you do it, right? It's not about the goal, because everyone pretty much has the same goal. It's about building your influence. See, an influencer is anyone that persuades someone else to be, to think, to do, or to act, right? During the day, we're hit with over 4,000 ads. Everything that we see all around us, 4,000 different messages beaming into our bodies, right? Fighting for our minds, our morality, our hearts, our worldview, and most importantly, our children's minds, hearts, morality, and worldview, right? And the strongest influence in their life is going to be the path that they choose. So the only goal on this channel is to help you become the strongest influence in the life of your child. So what's different about this channel besides everything else? Well, most parenting things that you're going to find online concentrate on 2 major things. #1, other channels concentrate on positive parenting. Now, there's a lot good, but a lot wrong with that, okay? I'm not suggesting negative parenting, but listen, life isn't positive all the time, okay? We're about the cold, hard facts here. We're not about a bunch of rah-rah, woo-hoo, fluff kind of stuff, right? I had a daughter, Annika, she's 11, and she got an assignment from one of her homeschool co-op teachers. We homeschool our children. And she was supposed to write a paper on the economic impact of Henry Ford. And she wrote this paper all about Henry Ford and his life and all this kind of stuff, and had just a couple sentences about Henry Ford and the assembly line and Ford Motor Company. And so she came to me and said, "Dad, what do you think of my paper?" And I said, "Well, Annika, I think you're a really good writer, but I'm afraid that if you turn the paper in like this, you're going to fail." She's like, "What? What do you mean?" I said, "Well, the goal of this was to write a paper about the economic impact of Henry Ford, not an autobiography about Henry Ford," right? I had to give her the cold, hard facts of, listen, I love you, but you're going to fail if you do this, because this is how the world works, right? Positive parenting also sets us up for failure, because we're not perfect. Like, I can't be positive all the time, and that overlays a perfection standard on us that's absolutely just going to blow one day, right? It's kind of like the old Diet Coke and Mentos deal, right? It just, you want to be negative, but you be positive, and it builds up inside of you, and the anger builds and builds, and one day, boom, you snap, you explode, right? So we can't do that. Other channels out there are teaching choices and logical love, right? Oh, boy, I should make a whole nother video about that. Here's the problem with choices, okay? Children lack the life experience and the moral warehouse and the knowledge to make good choices. If you ask a 3-year-old, "Hey, do you prefer to wear nice clothes to church or your pajamas to church?" Which one do you think they're gonna pick? The pajamas, right? I'm like a 38-something-year-old man, and sometimes I wanna wear my pajamas to church, like for real, right? That's what they're gonna do. If you turn a 4-year-old loose in a candy shop, they're gonna eat all the candy out there, right? Life isn't about 2 positive choices all the time. A lot of times in life, it's the choice between 2 negative choices, right? So again, we don't wanna teach our children a false reality. We wanna be real with our children, right? We wanna have a traditional, modern approach, right? We wanna be able to parent in today's society, but we have traditional values, right? We want men to respect women and boys to open doors for girls and all these sorts of things, but in a world where there's cell phones and Fortnite and, all this kind of stuff, and we want to marry those 2 worlds, and that's what we do here inside of Influencer Parenting. The big miss with most parents today is they go simply for behavior modification. Okay, behavior modification is the enemy of good parenting. So behavior modification focuses on the behavior that you want to have happen, and you'll do almost whatever it takes to get it. Behavior modification focuses solely on the external behavior, and you will actually do mostly anything that it takes to get it. That's the enemy of good parenting. When we focus just on the behavior we want our child to exhibit, we miss the heart, right? There's a story of a girl running around on an airplane, and this girl is running up and down the aisles and elbowing everybody and poking people. And there's a man on the plane that just can't take it anymore, and so he calls over to the stewardess and he says, "Stewardess, you have to restrain this girl." So the stewardess comes and takes this little girl back to her seat, hands her over to her mother and says, "Hey, you need to have this girl in her seat buckled." And this mother just starts reading this little girl the riot act, and she's embarrassed, and how could you, and you're not going to get any candy, and when we get there you're going to lose this and blah blah blah, and she's just going off on her. And this little girl is sitting there smiling, and the mom goes, how can you be smiling at this time? You're in so much trouble right now. And she says, "Well, I'm sitting down physically, but in my heart and in my mind, I'm still running up and down the aisles of that plane." Boom, right? Mom was going solely for behavior modification, not getting at the heart of the girl on the plane. We want to build a relationship with our child. We want to input the information into our child's life that we want to see happen eventually as an output, right? So what's an influencer? An influencer is anyone that gets someone else to be, to think, to do, or to act, right? So influencer parenting is all about persuading someone else to be, to think, to do, or to act, right? So I grew up, Tiger Woods is a few years older than I am. So I grew up in the Tiger Woods era. And he did for golf like nothing any other athlete has ever done for any sport. And I wanted to be just like Tiger Woods. I learned to play golf, and I bought my Tiger Woods clothes and my shirts and all this kind of stuff. And Tiger Woods had influence over me. I wanted to be like him so bad. And you know what? That's how we want our children to view us, right? That's what an influencer does. So it's not about all these cute phrases or these little tricks, whether your child is 3 years old, 10 years old, or 18 years old, right? When you have their influence, when they want to listen to you, what we say and the words we use and all these cute little intricate things, it becomes less and less important, and it becomes easier and easier and easier when we have our influence with our children. All right, so here at Influencer Parenting, we talk about the difference between a firefighter parenting and farmer parenting, okay? Farmers, here's what they do in a time of non-conflict, okay? When there's no trouble, nothing going on, they're making a plan, and they're tilling the soil, and they're planting the seed, and they're fertilizing, and they're putting down the weed control and whatever else farmers do, right? I'm from Iowa, I should know these things, right? And it goes smooth, and everything grows on a steady basis until the harvest in the fall, right? Firefighter parents, they're reactive. They're always trying to accomplish something in a time of conflict. They're always finding themselves in the middle of a fire, in the middle of a blaze, right? Running from this to this to this, trying to react to this, trying to put this mess out. And it's exhausting. And some of you out there feel like, "Oh, I've tried everything. My toddler won't this, or my 10-year-old won't this, or my 17-year-old won't this." Why? Because you don't have influence in their life. You can tell them till you're blue in the face. You can ground them. You can parent by your authority all day long. But when they turn 18, boom, they want to run out of the house, right? You have to ask yourself, do my children want to be in my house? Do my children's friends want to be in my house? Well, in the homes of an influencer, their children want to be in their home, and their friends want to be around their friends' parents who are influencers. You can think back maybe to your life growing up in high school. Was there that house that you loved to be at because their parents were so cool? Maybe those parents even hung out with you, right? And maybe those parents were your parents. Or maybe your parents were the type where they didn't really spend much time with you, and you were always going to other people's houses and hanging out with other people's friends, and you always wish that your parents were like their parents because they seemed so cool, right? Well, they took the time to be involved in your life, and they were in your life, and they were influencing you. You just didn't know it. And that's what this is about. Making the transition from parenting by your authority to parenting by your influence, and getting your children wanting to do the good that you continually teach them to do. It's so much easier when you have influence. So like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you know when another video is going live. We'd love to have you in the IP fam and show you how to become the strongest influence in the life of your child, because the strongest influence in the life of your child wins. We'll see you on the next one.